Tonight, controversy in Quesnel. The mayor is under fire after his wife was handing out literature that discredits the experiences of residential school survivors. Plus, the carbon tax is set to increase on April 1st. We get local reaction and how northern BC will be impacted. And the Omineca Arts Center is hosting a workshop tomorrow for writers. Good evening, I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight, there's major controversy in the city of Quesnel this week as it was discovered that the mayor of Quesnel's wife was distributing a book that's being deemed racist. It implies that the cultural genocide of Indigenous people in Canada did not occur, and essentially questions the existence of residential schools. This is now causing pain for residential school survivors in the area, as well as anger among other civic leaders. Adam Burles reports in tonight's top story.
It is my wife that has the book, and to be honest, I haven't even opened it. I've looked at the cover, but I've got no interest in looking at it.
That is the clip from the most recent Quesnel City Council meeting that has sparked controversy, as it was discovered that Mayor Ron Paul's wife, Pat Morton, was distributing a book in the community titled Grave Error: How the Media Misled Us and the Truth About Residential Schools, which downplays the history of residential schools in Canada and implies that cultural genocide did not occur at residential schools. And with these actions, it is evident that this has caused pain for residential school survivors like Elder Terry Boucher.
Another kick towards Aboriginal people, because we have suffered. But to hear that someone said we did not suffer, believe me, we suffered.
The Lataco Dene Nation strongly rebuked the actions of the mayor's wife in a letter to City Council, and the chief says that this is a blow to reconciliation and is unnecessarily putting survivors through pain.
Why would someone do something like this so hurtful to our survivors here in community? This is hate. And I hate to say that, but that's what it is. And it's putting our survivors through this again.
Councillor Tony Goulet, whose father is a residential school survivor, received a copy of the book from his mother, who had received it from the mayor's wife after getting their taxes done from her.
It's very emotional, very heartbreaking to hear that this could be handed out and put in the community in a way that is devastating.
Shock and disbelief are just some of the emotions felt in Quesnel among other civic leaders.
It just makes me really angry that we have a community member that is doing this without any regard to the fact that her husband is the mayor of this community. And what she does reflects on him, reflects on council, and reflects on the community as a whole.
The chief of Lataco Dene says that the trust and respect in their relationship with the mayor is gone.
The relationship with the mayor's office is definitely damaged, probably beyond repair. And I don't know if we can continue to work with him. Definitely we'll work with the remainder of the council and city managers and whatnot to continue the good work that we're doing, but it's different.
We reached out to Mayor Ron Paul to see if he wanted to speak with us on this issue, but he was unavailable for comment. In Quesnel, Adam Burles, CKPG News.
Turning to economics now. British Columbians pay the highest gas tax in the country, particularly in northern BC. And it will only get worse on April 1st after the carbon tax increase. According to the Taxpayers Federation, 66% of British Columbians are opposed to the carbon tax, and in a region like northern BC, where every product is brought in by truck or rail, the increase will have a major impact. Cheryl Jan has the story.
On April 1st, watch the price at the pump jump. That's because the government of BC will be adding to the carbon tax. And for northern BC, where everything comes to the region via something that requires fuel, it's costly.
Folks are going to see the cost of just about everything going up on April 1st. And that's before we mention gasoline, diesel, and home heating. British Columbian drivers already pay the highest taxes per liter of gasoline of anyone in Canada.
And the cost of the carbon tax is basic economics. The more it costs to get the product onto the shelves will be on the consumer at perhaps the worst possible time.
So this is hitting people at a time in which they're already feeling a 25% increase in basic food costs. They're feeling continued increase in cost of accommodations, they've got interest rates that are going up, and so there's more and more cost relative to how much more money you're getting. And so people are moving backwards. This is a very difficult time.
But the tax doesn't just impact drivers. It includes home heating fuels as well, which is really not an option in the north.
So jacking up a tax on everything, which is what the carbon tax is just going to make life harder for everyone in BC. David Eby, he needs to do the right thing. He needs to stand up for his constituents, for British Columbians, and cancel this carbon tax hike.
Charles Scott says there will be repercussions with not the idea of a carbon tax, but how it is being administered both provincially and federally.
I have a lot of sympathy for those that are advocating change in human behavior, because we are having serious consequences on our life support system, and we need to do things differently. The problem is, when are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? What's the timing on this? To what extent can behavior change quickly? And the easy wins are pretty well done, which means that now you're getting to the point where you are significantly impacting people's standards of living.
The Taxpayers Federation notes that 7 out of 10 premiers have spoken against the carbon tax. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
One man has died at the Sun Peaks ski resort northeast of Kamloops. A statement from the resort says the members of the ski patrol were informed of an accident on the mountain yesterday and found the injured man, who later passed away. It says Sun Peaks is cooperating with an RCMP investigation into the incident. There have been several other fatalities at BC ski resorts this season as well, including a 32-year-old woman who died at Whistler Blackcomb earlier this month. In other news, local RCMP are asking for your help in locating a black Dodge Ram. The truck, which fled authorities after being stopped on Highway 16 near Klucholz Lake on March 18th, was reported driving erratically around Prince George, with one witness saying that some of the passengers ran into the bushes at the end of Dominos Boulevard. Shortly after, the passengers returned to the pickup and fled eastbound on Highway 16 towards Highway 97. Police dogs searched the area and located 2 handguns, but the suspects and the vehicle remain at large. If you have any information about a black Dodge Ram with a Rental Alberta license plate of A43141, you're asked to contact the BC Highway Patrol. The Regional District of Fraser-Fort George is, like the city of Prince George, gearing up for wildfire season. But there are some conditions that make the task even more difficult, particularly in rural areas. Cheryl Jan reporting once again.
The community of Mackenzie is no stranger to wildfire, being in the middle of a forest. With the condition of the snowpack or lack thereof this year, they're feeling the pressure.
Our community ski hill, Little Mac, it's municipally owned. It only opened for 4 nights the entire year, where normally it's open from January to now. So we've definitely felt that impact as well. Williston Lake Reservoir is considerably lower than where it should be right now. So yeah, we're very concerned about the drought conditions up in Mackenzie.
The community is getting ready, hosting a community meeting to ensure everyone is ready.
So our fire department and our local nonprofit, Mackenzie Community Services, are partnering together to do a emergency preparedness public information session that the entire community is going to be invited to. It's going to be, we're still kind of figuring out the dates and logistics, but it'll be at the beginning of May. But it's the idea is just making sure we're prepared should the worst happen, and the worst seems to be wildfires these days.
The Regional District of Fraser-Fort George is more than 50,000 square kilometers in size and largely rural in nature. Planning for wildfires is daunting.
Certainly here at the Regional District, we are getting as prepared as we can be. There's a fire preparedness workshop coming up in Prince George. There's probably going to be about 600 people coming to that. Across the province, everybody's worried. Within our communities, we have received some grant funding to look at emergency preparedness at an electoral area level.
And the bigger challenge is the fact that many communities in the Regional District have a single road in and out, concerning for the District of Mackenzie Councillor Jesse Wright.
100% it's a concern, and it's something our community forest is actually taking action on. They've kind of got the tenure for the forest all along the Highway 39, so they're working at doing some fire mitigation strategies there, but it's something that's constantly on our mind because we do only have the one point of egress in and out of town.
The Regional District is currently updating the plan to address that deficit this year. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
The provincial government continues to announce more affordable housing projects, with 584 additional affordable homes on the way for renters in the interior and in northern BC. In partnership with local nonprofit housing providers, 15 communities will be getting more housing support. Of the 584 announced homes, 28 will be coming to Vanderhoof for families, seniors, and people living with disabilities. MLA for Nechako Lakes and Conservative Party leader John Rustad says it's great to see more housing come to Vanderhoof, but it isn't enough. He says Premier David Eby's commitment to keeping the private sector out of housing is hurting communities, as he believes the government should focus on other ways to support low-income people in the province and let the private sector fund a large part of building homes.
What we really need across this province is significant investment from the private sector into housing. We have a housing shortage in just about every community, and they need to be able to have support come in for the people that need it by government. But once you have the housing in place, of course, people with low income, seniors, people that need it need to be able to have support in terms of rental assistance. And that's something that I think government should be focused on. Instead, it's focused on, let's face it, it's a social style thinking that government should be providing this housing. And I just don't believe that is the right approach for British Columbia.
How about a little bit of happy news now? A special event is happening at University Hospital of Northern BC tomorrow. 4 years ago, first responders in the city were handed the daunting task of keeping hospitals running at one of the most difficult times of this generation, the COVID-19 pandemic. And to mark the event and say thanks, the UHNBC traditional drummers will be at the hospital from 11 to 2 in the afternoon. Omineca's artist-in-residence for March is both a poet and an artist, and tomorrow she'll be hosting a workshop where you can learn more about writing. Tommy Osborne spoke more with the artist to learn about her work and what we can expect from her workshop.
Erin J. Bowman, also known as the Panoptical Poet, is the Omineca Arts Center's artist-in-residence for March, and she is also the Arts Center's first writer to be featured this year. Her pen name, the Panoptical Poet, highlights a huge theme of her work.
The panoptical is made up of different suffixes and prefixes and roots, and its meaning of many views, because I want to try and be a poet who is, there's so many different viewpoints in the world, and I think that, there's a bit of validity in everybody's viewpoint, and so it's important to try and highlight all of those, especially the ones that don't get noticed as much.
Her work combines poetry with art, often creating a unique mixed media approach. Her poetry covers a wide variety of topics. As Bowman explained, it could focus on international politics and the many points of view centered around it, or something far more simple, like her love of hula hooping. Regardless of topic, Bowman hopes her poetry can inspire the audience.
My dad always says that he's not very creative, and he's not the most creative person in our family because he's a politician, but he's made a lot of good changes as a politician. And I always think back to when he said that Cahill Gibran and the poetry of Cahill Gibran is what inspired him to be the politician he is. So, I guess I hope that maybe somewhere out there is someone like my dad who's inspired by my poetry to make great changes in the world. When I was 8 years old, I wrote a poem, and one of my teachers decided to put it on the wall in our school, and that kind of hooked me. I was like, I want to do more of that. And so I guess the art is important too, but so is inspiring not just children, but everybody to express themselves and use their gifts to bring beauty to the world.
As for the workshop coming up tomorrow, Bowman says it will focus on journaling alongside meditation techniques and pranayama to tap into who you are and express yourself.
In this society, there's such a push to just be happy all the time and be productive, and that's not really what we're all about. That's very counter to our nature as humans, and I think it's very important to not dwell in the negative feelings, but acknowledge those feelings. And the fact that we don't often leads to serious mental health issues for a lot of people.
To learn more and sign up for the workshop, you can visit the Omineca Arts Center website. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
We're going animated with Kung Fu Panda 4, the newest installment in the beloved movie series. Starring Jack Black as the lead character Po, this franchise has lots to bring to the table, including exceptional animation that's filled with bright colors and really takes you into the world.
Being the Dragon Warrior, it's who I am! Skadoosh!
And lots of comedy that's aimed towards kids, but at the same time, clever enough that adults can enjoy it as well. In this latest film, after Po is tapped to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, he needs to find and train with a new Dragon Warrior, while a wicked sorceress plans to resummon all the master villains who Po has vanquished in the previous films.
Tai Lung, big fan. Once I possess the kung fu of every master villain, no one will dare question my power.
Not even the great Dragon Warrior.
Say what you want about Kung Fu Panda as a franchise, but it certainly does well in the box office, and this new installment is no exception. It's already grossed a whopping $176 million worldwide after just 10 days of being released. You can watch Kung Fu Panda 4 at Famous Player 6 Cinema.
You finally met your match, chameleon.
We're not so different, you and I.
Skadoosh. Stand back. I'm gonna kick my butt.
As of this morning, the lowest gas price in Prince George was sitting at $1.57.9 per liter at Costco. The lowest price in the province right now is in Salmon Arm at $1.53.9 per liter. Manitoba currently has the lowest fuel prices on average in Canada at $1.39 per liter. BC, meanwhile, has an average price of $1.86.6 per liter.
Good evening again, everyone. We're in for a really nice weather forecast for the weekend going forward. Today wasn't so bad. We saw some sunshine out there earlier, but certainly still some instability kind of hanging around for the evening hours in terms of more cloud cover rolling back in. I don't think there'll be too much in the way of precipitation, but certainly the wind chill will take the temperature down quite a lot tonight, so it'll be a bit chilly. This is our satellite. Again, I talked about the clouds, or the sunshine rather, and then the increase in clouds, but after that, we're in the clear. All the action is down here through the south coast for the most part, and southeast areas of the province as well. But for us, it's really that nice sunny sky that's going to persist right through the weekend and into early next week as well. We do have temperatures that are not quite as warm as they've been, but certainly closer to our average for this time of the year. So 7 is where we'll get to tomorrow. Nothing but sunshine expected. Up through Fort St. John, we're going to see +1, and you are looking at a bit of a break from all of the moisture the last couple of days. It's been a bit unstable up there. 12 in Kamloops, mix of sun and cloud there. Not a lot in terms of precipitation, as they're used to being in the rain shadow, of course, but the Okanagan might see a few showers and down through the south coast as well. So it's not a bad Saturday across our province. Our region looks beautiful and sunny. 7 degrees in Vanderhoof. Burns Lake will see similar temperatures there, and up through Mackenzie as well. So quick peek across the country, and again, I talked about the wet weather along the west coast. Well, there it is there for Vancouver. 0 in Edmonton. We should start to see things calm down weather-wise through lots of Alberta tomorrow or through the weekend. It's been quite a week with lots of snow, especially down through the southern parts of Alberta. -2 in Regina, a mix of sun and cloud through the afternoon hours in Winnipeg, little cloudy to start. And as we go over to the eastern half of the country, it is very windy along parts of the Maritimes, but we are looking at quite cool conditions over there as well. Sunny skies early into next week, and actually we might even see our temperatures bump up just a little bit from where we'll be on the weekend going into Monday. And you'll see here on the extended that we do see a bit of an increase in temperatures going into Tuesday, at least for Burns Lake, but -15 tonight, quite cold tonight. 6 degrees, plenty of sunshine tomorrow, and you're looking at lots of sunny sky for the weekend. Plenty of sunshine for Mackenzie as well. It'll be cold tonight, though. We certainly are going to see a wind chill value bring the temperature down colder than what you see there, but 5 degrees for the day tomorrow, 9 on Sunday. So Sunday looks to be sort of the nicest day to be outdoors. Well, tomorrow as well, but it'll be a little bit milder on Sunday. McBride will see temperatures up to 11 by the early part of next week, but 6 and 7 degrees possibly for Saturday, Sunday. Quesnel becoming cloudy and chilly tonight, but you're up to 10 degrees with so much sunshine in the forecast for both Saturday and Sunday. Not really going to see many clouds in the sky for the weekend there, or even where we are here in Prince George. So -9 overnight tonight. A little chilly, of course. -16 is likely what it'll feel like with the wind chill. 7 degrees tomorrow, plenty of sunshine for the weekend, up to 9, and then we start to see the temperature get into potentially more double digits early next week.
The TSX is down 103 points to close at 21,984. The Dow Jones is down 305 points to close at 39,476. and CN Rail went down 37 cents to close at $179.28.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Dominos. Try one of our delicious stuffed cheesy breads, paired up with chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
The Prince George Cougars kick off their most important weekend of the season this weekend as they play the Kamloops Blazers for a 2-game home-and-home set. Prince George has to win both of these games to have their shot at the #1 seed in the Western Conference at home advantage throughout the WHL playoffs. Now, it's no easy task as Kamloops will be motivated to ruin that for Prince George, while young talent on the Blazers will be putting everything on the line to impress coaches for next year. The Cougars will be going into this one doing their best to stay focused on just getting the job done and not worrying about that playoff picture, but they will get a major boost. Head coach and GM Mark Lamb has confirmed that star forward Cohen Zemer will return to the Caps lineup this weekend for the first time since being injured in November.
You know, game mode and, you know, just getting ready for the game, go out there for the warm-up, and you know, he's ready to go now. So we're going to see him this weekend.
I mean, as much as we, you know, we think about that stuff, once it comes kind of focusing for the game, we kind of just shut it out and just worry about our opponent and doing what we need to do to win.
The Spruce Kings, meanwhile, take on the Vernon Vipers for a 2-game home set this weekend, and it will be quite a big one for forward Killian McGregor-Bennett, who's announced his commitment to play D1 hockey at Stonehill College. Recently named team MVP this year, McGregor-Bennett has had a stellar season, scoring 19 goals with 18 assists, good for a team-leading 37 total points. The 20-year-old first joined Prince George at the end of the 2019-20 season. Since then, he suited up for 166 games with the Spruce Kings. The White Rock BC product will join former teammate Charlie Bankier next season with the Skyhawks. We have the NHL, the NBA, and the NCAA March Madness Tournament with some wild experiences to watch. And you can watch them all in tonight's CKP3.
We start with the return to the lineup.
After it goes to Brinket, wide open Larkin. He scores! Dylan Larkin from the Brinket. It's 3-1!
Safe to say, Dylan Larkin is excited to be back in the Red Wings lineup as they continue to push for the playoffs. Next, it's to the NBA for some craziness.
Deontay George runs into Luka. Luka on the floor, finds Kyrie.
Chaos taking place from the floor to the air for the Dallas Mavericks. Derek Jones Jr. finishing off this awesome sequence. Finally, this year's bracket buster.
Golke again, putting up a 3 and hitting. Looking for Golke. Here he is again, putting up a 3. Goodness. Here's Golke. That's a deep 3. It's gone. Now there's a good switch by Wagner. Here he is again. Oh boy! Golke comes off a screen, fakes the 3. Now he'll take it. Yes, sir! Great closeout, right out on Golke. He'll take it anyway. Why not? Golke comes off a screen, puts up a 3. It's good! Townsend comes to get it with 10 on the shot clock. Here's Golke again. What? His 9th 3! Shot clock resets to 20. Golke again. Yes!
Jack Golke's historic shooting night leads number 14 Oakland to a stunning win over number 3 Kentucky. 5th player in NCAA tournament history to hit 10 threes in a game as Golke takes top spot in tonight's CKP3.
Hello from the CKPG Today side. Of course, got a great show over here today for you, including a couple things out and about, actually. I'm going to teach you how to scrapbook if you don't know how already, maybe give you some tips if you've already been in the scrapbooking biz. I'm a rookie, so we're starting off from a blank slate here. Pretty fun activity we're going to do today with some photos from the show. Plus, we're going to head down to the Spruce City Wildlife Association and we're going to check out, well, basically a saltwater touch tank, it's called. It's kind of a cool thing. We got creatures in there. And yeah, including a sea cucumber. Yeah, have you ever, you know, seen a sea cucumber before? Pretty cool, spiky thing.
I don't even know how to answer that, Kane. I have never seen one before, no. So you enjoy that wonderful experience with those sea cucumbers there, Mr. Fanshawe. All right, folks, before we wrap things up tonight, just a quick note to our viewers. We will be airing the late Prime Minister Brian Mulroney's funeral tomorrow morning, and that'll air from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. on CKPG TV. So if you go to our channel, you will be able to watch the funeral proceedings. And that's all the time we have tonight, folks. Thanks so much for joining us as always. It's Friday. We made it, folks, through another week. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you on Monday.